Hi, JJ here from 22 Explosive Hits. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but here goes. I'm going to start off 2022 with responding to a vinyl tag that's going around for 2022 from Rob Walker's Let the Music Play channel. If you haven't checked out his channel, I do recommend it. It's a really good channel. The man in the UK knows his stuff about music and submarines, whatever you want to know about, so he's really good. Anyway, without any further ado, he asked us to show 22 different things, and I have it all compiled, and I'm going to show it right now. Okay, the first one on his list is favorite album purchased in 2021. And mine, hands down, was the Let It Be box set. This was an amazing box set. Really well put together, sounds incredible, almost surprisingly incredible. And it even came with a book, and it also came with Let It Be Remastered, as well as Get Back with Glyn Johns' version of Get Back. And you can kind of see why they went with the version of Let It Be as being their final release that they did. However, it does give you a piece of history, and you get to see Glyn Johns' version of the record. If you saw the Get Back movie, which even supplements this even better, you'll see how Glyn Johns was really, really involved in the recording of the Let It Be record that they did in January of 1969. So this is my favorite album that I purchased in 2021. The next question is an album by a person, by the first person you saw live. And as I mentioned in my interview with Rachel, that would be Ariel Speedwagon. So this is Ariel Speedwagon's hits. I saw them back in 1982, in February of 82 at the Milwaukee Arena. There was a really great show. By that time, they hadn't done some of the hits on here, but they did Take It on the Run, Keep on Loving You, Roll with the Changes, kind of like side one on this one. But like Can't Fight This Feeling and those other ballads hadn't really been released yet. But this was the first band that I saw live. The next one is an album by a duo. So the one I chose is Buckner and Garcia for Pac-Man Fever. So everybody knows this was a cheesy hit back in the 80s to go on the video game craze. On this record, they not only have Pac-Man Fever, but they have Froggy's Lament, an Ode to Centipede, Hyperspace, The Defender, and they even have Do the Donkey Kong on here as well. Now, to give a little background on this record is that I believe it's Buckner or Garcia actually went on to make the soundtrack to Wreck-It Ralph, and he actually ended up getting an Oscar nomination. So his musical talent went beyond just this cheesy video game music. He actually did some serious music that made it actually later in life. But this is a very, very cheesy album. This is an OG copy I got for $1. The next one is an album still in the shrink, and of course, I picked my 22 explosive hits. Still sealed, still in the shrink. This particular one is the Canadian release, so it's a little bit different hits. The one I have that's unsealed is the American version that I played before, and this has things on it such as Sammy Davis Jr.'s The Candyman, Hamilton, Joe Frank, and Reynolds' Don't Pull Your Love, Layla, the shortest version of Layla you'll ever hear, Hot Butter Popcorn, and even has an ad on the back here if you see close enough for the record selector. The next question is concept album. And the one I picked, probably pretty obvious choice, would be Pink Floyd The Wall. Obvious concept album from start to finish. Has a very big theme to it, and that Roger Waters pretty much is all his production with Pink Floyd. Amazing album. I really like it. I also like the movie done by Alan Parker and stars Bob Geldof. The next one is an album you've not played. I did manage to get this one on Amazon, but I have not had a chance to play it yet. It's actually still in the shrink as well. This is U2's Wide Awake in America. I got this for just a few bucks actually on Amazon. It was really cheap. Brand new. And this is probably this live version of Bad that's on here is the best version of Bad in my opinion. Probably second would be the Live Aid version, but this one is very, very good. Really heartfelt, really great performance by Bono and U2. The next one I have is a artists that you've discovered in 2021, and that would be Guided by Voices. I heard them mentioned on the TV show IT Crowd, but I never actually picked up one of their records. I did manage to finally go on to iTunes, check out some of their music on Apple Music. I did end up liking it to the point where I found this record in Madison when I was out record hunting with Slambo, and I bought this. So this is a new band I've discovered, and I really do like them. The next one is a live album, and this is actually a live box set that I got. It's called Grateful Dead, Saint of Circumstance, and this was them at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, in, I believe it's August of 1781. So this is it's a full show. I got this. I enjoy it, listen to it, but I find kind of a pain that you got to flip it all the time to listen to live. If I'm going to get a live record, a lot of times I sometimes prefer to get CDs or listening to them in digital files as opposed to vinyl. It has something to do with sound quality. It's just more convenience because I can just play it and enjoy it the way it was live, like when I'm sitting there, as opposed to having to flip the record all the time. But I mean, it does sound great, and the tracks on here are amazing. And I would give this one a 10 out of 10 as far as being a live album. It's just my personal preference. Album from a different continent. I picked this one. This is Images by David Bowie. I got this as VCLT from Patrick the Vinyl Archivist. And this is a British release of some really cool, rare David Bowie on the Durham. And this is obviously Europe, so it's a different continent than me. I'm in the Americas. And this one has on here Made of Bond Street, Sell Me a Coat. Just a lot of rare Bowie I've never heard before. And it's really good. I do recommend you check this out if you haven't already heard it. An album with the stickers still on it. I picked this one up at a thrift store. This is also part of my K-Tel collection. This is The Sounds of Bread. And if you see up here, still has the original $4.96 tag on it from here. It has all the hits on it. Buy Bread. And this is actually a K-Tel greatest hits release. The next one that I have is a punk or new wave album. And I'm going to show this record store day release of the Ramones that I got. This was recorded in July 8th, 1980. I was 8 years old. This is my 8th birthday, so this album kind of meant a lot to me when I got it. I also ended up VCLTing a copy of this to Mazzy as well. It's a really good recording. It has, I was told, a very unique recording from this tour, actually from the Wireless in Australia. So it's supposed to be really good. Next one is Show a Box Set. This one I got at Best Buy for really cheap because it was an open item, and I couldn't return it. This is the soundtrack to the documentary that was made. Genius Amplified Eric Clapton, Life in 12 Bars. Has some really good stuff on here. Muddy Waters, The Yardbirds. Has them with Cream, Aretha Franklin, Blind Faith. Derek and the Dominoes are on here. George Harrison's My Sweet Lord. Has a really good blend of a lot of stuff that he actually played on. It's a really good record. The next one is show one with a sporting theme. So I grabbed a movie, Vision Quest. It's about wrestling. Really good movie, and actually a really good soundtrack, I think. That actually kind of amplifies the film. This one has Only the Young, which is great with him running in the beginning of the film. Changed by John Wade is another good one on here. Don Henley, She's on the Zoom. And the next one I have on here that I like is Hot Blooded by Foreigner. And of course, Crazy for You, which Madonna actually sang in the movie as well. My jazz album needs no introduction. It's Love Supreme by John Coltrane. My favorite best of album that I got this year, this is a Japanese pressing of Billy Joel's greatest hits. There was a guy at a record show that had a bunch of these Japanese pressings, and he basically told me he didn't want to take them home. I could come see him later after the show if I looked around and didn't see anything. Gave me a really good deal on a bunch of Billy Joel Japanese pressings, and one of them actually included this greatest hits, which those of us who know the greatest hits know this one actually goes for some really cool dollars, and this one would probably even go for more because it's a Japanese pressing. It not only has the greatest hits on here, but also has 2 additional tracks that are not on any Billy Joel record. That would be Only Human and While the Night is Still Young. Next one is show an album with at least 8 people on the jacket. That's my gold and platinum album. You'll see on here there's Cyndi Lauper, The Police, Billy Joel, Pat Benatar, Paul McCartney, Michael Jackson. Who else is on here? Who is that? Hall & Oates and Men at Work are all on this record. It's a greatest hits compilation. Not a K-Tel. This was put out by Columbia House. Columbia House would sometimes do their own releases and try to get you to purchase them. And this just has a whole lot of hits on here, like Come On, Feel the Noise, Say, 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 Human Nature, Every Breath You Take, Twist of Fate, Tell Her About It by Billy Joel. All Columbia hits because it's a Columbia release. Next one is show a soundtrack. I grabbed my favorite soundtrack that I picked up. This one is from the movie Office Space. We gotta get those TPS reports done, and the scene when he wants to be a gangsta is just unbelievable. I love it. It's a really good film, and I really enjoyed the soundtrack. It complements it really well. It's not just somebody trying to play hits to try to make a soundtrack. It actually fits the film really well. Show some vclt. This is from Rachel the Music Man. She did a really good job, and I really appreciate it, Rachel, of increasing my Canadian K-Tel. People don't know that when you collect K-Tel, in other countries, the releases, they may even have the same names, they may have whatever, but they're different releases in Canada than they are in the United States. So being in the United States, it's hard for me to get a hold of some of the Canadian releases without paying through the nose for it. She was generous and provided these to me and only charged me the shipping. Thank you again, Rachel. I really appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing. An album with no writing on the jacket. It's actually an empty album that came in an album that I ordered, and he used it to kind of pad the record. I don't know why he did that, but he did. I ended up getting a Canadian release of a country K-Tel record called The Touch of Country Love. And so it's a Canadian country release. I put a new sleeve on it, but it did come in this empty case. No writing. I think it qualifies. Next item, 7-inch. I'll show the closest that I have. It's kind of very similar to Rachel's Bing Crosby that she shows all the time. This is Singing in the Rain. It has all the key songs from Singing in the Rain, like, well, Singing in the Rain. And Make 'Em Laugh is on here as well. It's a fun little record. Very solid, actually, and cleaned up really well. It's a nice release. Next one is show colored vinyl. And the one I picked is Remember the Titans. This probably could have also qualified for the sporting one as well. But this one is on brown vinyl. Or actually like a cleared brown tannish vinyl right there. It was released, a special release by Walmart. And last but not least, he wants us to show one album from 1982. I don't know why that year, Rob Walker. I didn't catch that in your video. I got the questions. But anyways, I picked the soundtrack to Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Couldn't think of a better record that would define 1982. With Jackson Browne, She's Gonna Be Somebody's Baby. Also on here is Don Henley, Graham Nash, Oingo Boingo, Poco, Billy Squier, Donna Summer, to name a few. And as we look here, defines 1982 because it has the Vans on here, which because of this movie and Sean Penn wore them, that style just took off and was unbelievable. So that is my Rob Walker, Let the Music Play vinyl tag for 2022. Hope more of you participate. I'm going to put a link down here with all the questions that are part of the tag, as well as a link to Rob's channel. Rob, you do a great job. I do like your channel. You're a great person, a great addition to the vinyl community, and I thank you. And I just want to remind the vinyl community, let's bring each other up rather than bring each other down. Have a great day.